Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We're here today to say some nice things about ourselves and to really reprogram our own minds so that we can have better lives. It is fantastic to see y'all here today. So, good morning to you. The question of the day was, what was your favorite part of the weekend? And I know that a lot of us had a great weekend, and some of us had a not so great weekend. And I understand for those of you who are going through stuff, like I get it. And I just want to let you know that you remain in my thoughts, that I care about you, and that I'm thinking about you. So I sincerely hope that everything that you are going through resolves itself in a peaceful manner. So, anyways, just wanted to say good morning to everybody who's here. Good morning. It looks like Dennis and Dan and Donna are here, and Shauna and Frank and Amanda and Lauren, Jelly, and Grant and Selena. Good morning to all of you guys. It is fantastic that you are here this morning. Thank you so much for showing up, for having some fun with me today. And we are here to say some good stuff about us. And yeah, Brenda Jean. Movie night with friends was a really amazing part of the weekend. I enjoyed it too. Thank you so much for the invite. It's so great to be able to collaborate with a lot of you guys, not just on the internet, not just meeting you here, but also meeting you in your homes and really just doing life together. And isn't that what life is all about? Life is about the people that we do it with. So anyway, we are going to be saying some nice things about ourselves with my I Am deck. I am Maui Paul. We are here to do that. And we're going to do that today. So I'm going to ask you, if you are the affirmation on the card, what I'd like for you to do is to say out loud, I am that affirmation. As we do that practice, this daily practice, we are intentionally rewiring our brains. So much of our internal narrative comes from when we're children, when the only authority figures in our lives are typically parents or teachers, and they raise us the best that they know how to. But ultimately, we are raised according to the paradigms of a generation who are trying to prepare us for a world that doesn't exist anymore. And each and every one of us does that. As we give guidance to people who are younger than us, we give guidance based on the world that we grew up in, and that world will not be there. My parents, raised me in a with the idea that the internet wasn't a thing, the computers weren't really much of a thing, and so when they raised me with these expectations, I guess, or with these inbuilt societal ideas about how life was going to be, and I love them for doing it. But at the same time, I recognize that a lot of the advice that they gave me wasn't necessarily relevant to my life, as the world has completely changed. It's not that it was bad, it's just that it was outdated. So a lot of the ideas that we have in our heads are outdated as well. And so let's replace those ideas with better ideas, with some affirming I am statements. And so today we're going to affirm something good about ourselves by saying that today I am forgiving. I am forgiving. I release resentment and embrace peace. So I am forgiving. I release resentment and embrace peace. Are you forgiving? You are forgiving. You release resentment and embrace peace. And I'm going to write that down in the comments, because writing it down makes it even more real for us. It forces our brains to embody these words, because we are forgiving people. We release resentment and embrace peace. Somebody once told me that forgiveness is a gift that we give ourselves. The person that we're mad at doesn't know that we're mad at them. So why on earth would we hold that feeling? The feeling exists only inside of ourselves. And the same thing with offense. When we're offended, that offense only lives inside of us. The person that we're offended with, they might know about it, but they don't care. They don't carry it with them. They don't carry that resentment with them the same way that we do when we refuse to forgive. It's so important for us to remember that we also are screw ups in our lives, and we also have done things to other people that we needed their forgiveness for. And as we receive forgiveness, we can give it as well. And so, I think about it a lot. There's a prayer that I say every day, but a part of this prayer is forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And I thought about those words a lot. What exactly is trespassing? Trespassing is when somebody crosses over a boundary without realizing it. Sometimes we trespass without realizing it. When I was a kid, I did a lot of trespassing as I was just exploring the woods. I had no idea that I was on other people's property, but I was. I had no idea that I might have been damaging their stuff or walking through their rose garden, but I was. And they had a legitimate beef with me had they caught me. And a couple of times I was caught on somebody's property where I wasn't supposed to be. And yeah, one time I got to go home in a police car because of it. And so, I was trespassing, even though I didn't really realize it at the time. Other times we're trespassing and we know we're trespassing. There's a no trespassing sign, there's a fence, and we climb over it anyways because we want what's on the other side. And so when we forgive other people for trespassing against us, and in many cases, I find that the trespasses that people have against me, the boundaries of mine that they violate, are typically boundaries that I have not set very clearly. And so, therefore, I need to forgive them for that because it's my bad for doing that, for not setting that boundary, for not setting that expectation. How could I hold resentment against somebody who walks across an invisible line? And when somebody trespasses against a boundary that I have made clear, well, then that's something I also have to forgive because I have to release that resentment. And when I release the resentment, when I release the offense, when I say, okay, well, that happened, and I'm going to behave differently now, but that's a me thing. All that stuff exists inside of me. All that stuff is mine. It's my feelings to have. They're my feelings to process. And I recognize that if I hold on to that anger, if I hold on to that resentment, it just eats a hole inside of me. And so it's just really, really important for us to be forgiving people. And I see it very regularly around me. As I forgive others, I recognize how they forgive me. And I also watch other folks, who are around me forgiving each other. And it's such an important thing to do because it allows us to remain in a healthy and beneficial relationship with each other. As they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, and far game, not a fast game. So as we do that, it's so important to just recognize that the people that we need to forgive are oftentimes the people who are closest to us to hurt us more and to cause us to feel that resentment. I'm currently dealing with some end of life stuff with my dad, and I love my dad tremendously. And I called him up recently. He's not really in much of a verbal state right now, but I called him up recently, and we had a very good conversation where I told him that I loved him, and I told him that all the things that were on my mind, because it's too late after he's gone to admit that maybe that I was holding something against him, and so I have unconditionally forgiven him. And I sincerely hope that he has unconditionally forgiven me for all of the hurts that we have caused each other, because that's such an important thing to do. So I am forgiving today. I release resentment and embrace peace. And as we forgive each other, and as we realize that we don't need to hold on to that resentment that other people will sometimes bring up in us, and as we do that, we are ultimately making this world an even better place just by being in it. So we're all, each and every one of us is flawed. Each and every one of us trespasses against boundaries. And when we do that, we need to forgive each other, and we need to forgive ourselves too for doing it. There have definitely been times in my life where I have just beaten myself up for a very long time over ways that I've messed up or I've failed to live up to my own values. And when that happens, it doesn't help me to beat myself up over it. It helps me to forgive myself, because as I learn how to forgive myself, as I learn to say, okay, well, yeah, I screwed up, and it's okay that I screwed up. I'm going to continue to work at this and do better next time. As I do that, then I recognize the capacity in other people to do the same exact thing. And that's probably one of the ultimate lessons that forgiveness teaches us is that we can forgive ourselves, is that oftentimes we are our own greatest enemy, and we are called to love our enemies. And so we have to love ourselves, forgive ourselves, stop being resentful toward ourselves. And when we do that, then we will have the ability to do it for others. Anyways, we're forgiving people. Let's see what you guys were saying about the comments. I know that we were talked about what your favorite part of the weekend was, and then we launched into this conversation about forgiveness. So let's see here. Yeah, Shauna says sober Sunday movie fun was wonderful. Yes, it was. It's so cool to be able to have a party with people and gather together with folks, and everybody just is sober. We don't need an intoxicant in order to have fun. We can have fun just because we enjoy each other's company. Frank says, getting out of our storage unit, paying for it physically now, but it's done. Well, congratulations, Frank. Yeah, it's so nice just to have all your stuff in one place. That's actually something on my agenda today, is to grab some stuff of mine that is elsewhere and bring it over to my house. Let's see. I know Amanda also had a rough weekend. I know what you're going through too, Amanda, and just know that I'm praying for you, that I care about you, and Dan as well. You guys, I know that you're going through some tough stuff, and I share. I share. I'm going through some tough stuff myself, but being surrounded by this community with love and support somehow made it easier, right? The people who are around us, they do make it easier. They help us tremendously as we go through the stuff that we're going through, because no one is an island. Jelly says her favorite part of the weekend was getting to spend time with Valley people. So much fun talking with everyone at the festival. That's right. There was an art festival this weekend. I know I walked away with a bunch of art, and I'm sure a lot of other folks did too. Brenda Jean also mentioned in movie night. You hosted it, so thank you, Brenda Jean. That was a blast. Um, Hey, Lauren says favorite part of the weekend, great motorcycle ride with family. Yeah, there was I think somewhere between 95 and 98 motorcycles in that ride, according to the sheriff, and it was an absolute blast. So for those of you who don't know, we a whole group of us got together, and there was the shop with a cop, which was basically a program put on by the sheriff's department. They take some kids who maybe don't have all that much money, don't have a great home situation, and they take them over to stores, and the kids have a budget and they can go shop with a police officer. One of the most beautiful things that I heard, the sheriff was making a speech about it, and he said that a lot of these kids, even though they have nothing, when they get to the place that's, when they get to Walmart or wherever it is that they go shop, they were often buying stuff for other people. So even though they have this budget and they can buy anything they want for themselves, a lot of times they're buying things for others. And in many cases, like household necessities, like, that the house needs a toilet brush or something. It's very, very beautiful to see how these children give, even as, they receive this amazing thing, and they turn it right into generosity. So it's nice to see that. Let's see here. Oh boy, Jeffrey did a spin class with Jennifer this morning. Congratulations, Jeffrey. If you want to have a body by Jen, go to her spin class. Oh my goodness. Jen's another friend of ours, and she does a fantastic job at really building everybody up around her. Like, her energy is spectacular. Love to get her on this show. Let's see here. Who else do we have chatting about things? I'm glad that the card hits hard today, Jelly. Yeah, once again, forgiveness is a gift that we give to ourselves. And Dennis says, I forgave the person in my current situation. It's brought me so much peace and happiness, knowing I was hurt, but now I'm letting go and moving on. Best decision I've ever made. Well, I'm proud of you, Dennis, for doing that. And forgiveness comes in layers. It's like an onion. We say we forgive, and we do forgive, and just saying that we forgive somebody is the first step. And then I remember when I got divorced a few years ago, and I remember that the very first thing that I did within a couple of days was I told my wife, or we hadn't been divorced yet, but she had left me. But I just said out loud that I forgave her, and then I really adopted that as my attitude. And I found that it took months and years even to reach deeper levels of forgiveness. But I found that every time that I shed a new, I shed even more resentment, and I embraced a new level of forgiveness, that I just was even more at peace. And I forgave in ways I didn't even know I needed to forgive. And I sincerely hope that she's done the same thing, because she deserves that peace just like I have it as well. Um, let's see here. All right. Well, I think that's about it for today, guys. I want to say thank you so much for coming on by and letting us and letting me speak some life into your dreams today. And yeah, I want to say thank you so much. Brenda Jean says, I'm forgiving myself for any trespasses, usually failing to meet my own expectations. Holding grudges against myself just keeps me trapped. Yeah, you're darn right it does. And so that's why we have to learn how to forgive ourselves before we can forgive others. And once we master forgiveness of ourselves and realizing that, hey, we're not perfect people and we screw up all the time, and it's okay, we can forgive ourselves and keep on keeping on, then that's when we understand that we can do the same thing for other people. All right, guys, I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. with another wake up call, and we will continue to speak life into our own selves, into our own dreams. I want to say thank you guys for being here. It is amazing. I appreciate it when you share the broadcast and when you really just help me to bring this message to a wider group of people. If you get value from this, then do me a solid and just hit the share button. It costs you nothing, and it really it helps me with my own life purpose stuff. So until then, I love you, I care about you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Aloha from paradise.